Okay, item number 15, which is the permit parking space designation. I believe, Gordon, you asked that be removed?
Yeah, I have some questions for staff on our policy on this issue. Is it allowed to basically designate a parking space for a period of 6 months for, I don't know, political protest or whatever you want to call it exactly? I mean, what are the city rules on that? And do we do this routinely? Is this available to any group, who requests it? I mean, and what are our rules on? I know for construction, you can get a space permanently removed for the project, but I'm not aware of what our policy is, and this seems sort of odd, kind of, if it's every other Wednesday or every Wednesday rather than every day.
The city doesn't have an ordinance that authorizes anyone to just give people parking spaces, but it does have a street event ordinance which would allow what Code Pink is asking for. That's the application they have to file. I understand they did file an application. I don't know what's happened with it. And that would be the appropriate way to do it. And anyone can ask for a street event permit.
And can we see a copy of the application?
Yes, sir.
The city has received an application.
All right, we received an application. We're not sure if it's complete, and I think we asked Councilman Meyer to amend her items tonight to make sure they do submit an appropriate application.
Okay, I'd like to make a couple of comments about this issue. I think, Berkeley supports people's rights to free speech, and there are many people who, oppose or want to make their opinion known about the Marine Recruiting Station. I have a feeling, though, that a lot of this is, people are very unhappy, and Berkeley is overwhelmingly against the current war in Iraq, and this is a very unpopular war, and people are using that to, bend the rules maybe, or things that may have unintended consequences. To give you another example, in other communities, some people harass abortion clinics, and with a purpose to intimidate people who want to go seek those services. And there's a line between protesting and exercising your free speech and when you actually harass or make it so unpleasant that people don't take advantage of those services. And that's a concern to me here. I'm also concerned that this item was put in, I think, maybe correct me, before an application at least was complete, or at least it sounds like it may not even be complete yet. That looks to me, again, in some ways we're showing favoritism to one side of the argument. And even if I agree with the argument, I think we have to respect the other side and not abuse their rights, in this process. Allowing, certainly I have no problem with people, protesting. I'm a little concerned about giving them a parking space right in front of the Marine Recruiting Center. That seems to be confrontational, and I question that. The second is I really have a feeling that this is not good policy, and there's a concern also what impact this has on neighboring businesses. To me, to place these two parties right in juxtaposition to each other is not necessarily a good idea. I think there should be some space. I know some communities have ordinances, as according to the example I mentioned to the protests around the abortion center, that there has to be some standoff distances, and I think we should take a look at that. Particularly, I would feel much different if this was, for one protest, but it's for a regular protest for 6 months, and I think that's a very long commitment, and it bothers me. I think that we've bent our rules to put this on a late item, and it seems to me in some ways we're setting up a confrontation and haven't really considered the possible side effects of this policy. So I'm going to oppose the motion or the recommendation.
Okay.